Emotional states vary vastly in dementia units, and it may well be in a typical unit that a third of the residents have anxiety, a few of them verging on high anxiety, a third depression, and a third managing quite well. So in terms of these various categories, it makes a big difference as to the quality of life and behaviour of those people. So take, for example, anxiety. Where I worked at the dementia unit, those women that were anxious used to spend half the day at the nurse's station calling out, wanting to talk often to their favourite son. And it was a very heartrending thing, because with that emotional yearning, you know, it's painful for the people calling out and painful for the staff and other relatives witnessing it. But often relatives, say the sons, don't realise their mother's calling out for them. They've got no idea, because it's often the power of attorney sister that's the power of attorney, and so she's informed of everything from the charge nurse. But really, do they hear that the mother's calling out for the son all week? That's not something that goes through the channels. So if you do hear through the grapevine, either from a nurse or a carer or someone else, the cleaner, the laundry girl, who tells you when you go into the room to visit your mother that your mother's calling out for you all week or calling out for you anytime, don't take it lightly, because chances are it's far more magnified than that. And the problem is that all this anxiety, it's not just emotional anxiety, though that's hard enough. It's physical stress, it's cortisol, it's increased blood pressure, it's increased heart rate, it's headaches, it's migraines, it's not being able to sleep at night, it's tossing and turning, it's churning of stomach, you know, it's muscle tension, mental tension, migraines. So many symptoms come from emotional stress, as we all know. So dementia residents being emotionally stressed and, you know, really wanting to see their favourite son. You know, it's not something to be taken lightly. It's emotionally painful for them. And the loneliness factor as well. Now, of course, the mother may well be supported by the power of attorney daughter, but as sometimes happens, they want to see the son, the favourite son, and he's not informed that mum's wanting to see him. So it's not just that mum's going to be satisfied with just seeing one of the children. She likes to see the other children, and maybe she has a special relationship with this son and he understands her. Actually, I have an example of this where there was one dementia resident who I was working with, and she did have a supportive daughter who was the power of attorney, so that was fine. But the daughter was pretty matter of fact, pleasant, but, you know, didn't really tune into sort of empathetic type feelings or emotional supportive stuff. She really wasn't into it. It was more the practical aspects that she worked on. Whereas this woman had had a very close relationship with her son and had always been able to understand her. She'd always had a poor memory, and she'd been able to compensate for that and had been very understanding of her with that. So she used to call out for him all week. All week. It was painful, you know, to hear how upset she used to get. She'd stand at the front desk and, you know, call out his name, that she wanted to speak to him on the phone. But the staff, of course, saying that they're too busy to arrange the phone call. They'll often arrange the phone call to the power of attorney, having their number at the front of the chart, easy access, but they often don't have the other sons or the other siblings' names in the front of the chart for easy access when the mother gets disturbed. There's usually just one or two phone numbers put in the charts for the staff to ring for emergencies or when the resident wishes to call out, but it is actually really difficult getting calls out because everyone's so busy. But it's rare that you'll get all the siblings. If you've got 4 children, you're not going to have all their full names there to call out to. So that's why you have to work all this out yourself, and which I'm telling you now to hopefully make it easier. So with this one woman, she was having so much stress not seeing her son, and she was a very capable, pragmatic, pleasant, intelligent woman. She wasn't the type at all. She wasn't an emotional type actually at all. It was very unlike her to stand at the front desk and call out, but she was in so much emotional pain not seeing him that she just couldn't stop herself doing this. Anyway, in the end, I couldn't stand it either, actually. It was so hard to witness. So when the son finally did come in, when I was working, I actually told him, I said, look, your mother is really stressed. She's not seeing you. She's really missing you. And she's calling out all week, you know, at the desk. And he said, really? And I said, yes, really. He said, I had no idea. He had no idea that his mother was calling out for him. He wasn't informed. The staff hadn't said anything. The carers, the charge nurse, his power of attorney sister, no one was mentioning it till I mentioned it. And then when he said, oh, that's terrible, I didn't realise that, I'll definitely come in more, I'll definitely support more. And he did. He was a very regular visitor after that, and his mother's emotional stress just de-escalated right down. Her blood pressure settled, her stress settled, you know, she didn't have to stand at the front desk and call out because she was supported and seeing him. It made such a difference to her quality of life. So this is the way that we just need to be a little bit mindful as to what's going on in these places. And if you've always been a favourite son, I mean, you know if you have been or not, if you're the favourite son of mum, visit, you know, I mean, if you're not hearing through the grapevine that she wants to see you, never mind, she will want to see you, I can tell you that. And she'll be much more settled and happier as a result if she does. And even if you can't visit, phone. You can still phone in, set time each day so the staff know about it and, you know, mum knows about it, and still you can connect that way if you're overseas and you can't obviously come and visit because of that. So I've written these 2 books on all these topics, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit and on Amazon, soft copy, hard copy, and ebooks most popular presently. So thank you for viewing and your likes, and please subscribe. Thanks.